Hello everybody, welcome to Rant with Jordan. I'm Jordan. If you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're returning, welcome back. As you can see, we have the green wall behind me, the iconic green wall behind me. I am back at my grandma's, and I am so sorry for like the 2 or 3 weeks of just like no videos after my Renaissance film review. I really thought I was going to come home and just start pushing out videos just so I could like start having content and backwalling content for like when I go back to school. And baby, I needed to sleep. I needed to rest. This semester was crazy. I'll explain it all in a video I'm going to make talking about like just how this year went for me and the channel and everything. But I mean, that's not why you're here. That's not why you're here. That's not why you're here. If you guys are here because you saw the title of this video, which I'm sorry, I gotta address this real quick. This hair, this is what happens when you don't sleep with your fucking bonnet in. Like, don't be like me. Don't be like me. And I'm too lazy right now. I'm not going anywhere, so I'm too lazy to comb it out. But like, sleep with your bonnet on, because then this does not happen. I won't have to spend 20 minutes combing this back out. But anyway, the world is on fucking fire and everything kind of fucking sucks. The world is on fucking fire and everything kind of fucking sucks. And I kind of just want to come on here and rant about it. I made a video about this. Like, I made a video along the lines of this topic, like, maybe like a year ago. Like, probably, like, yeah, about a year-ish ago. And that video did horribly, but, like, I don't care. It's my channel. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, and either y'all will watch or y'all won't. But this is what we're gonna go through these 3 topics, because these are the 3 topics that are on my mind right now. And hopefully we won't be here for longer than, like, 20-ish minutes. First, Simone Biles' husband is a loser.
Like, well, nigga, you gotta go. The fuck is wrong with you?
He's a liar, but he's a loser. I'm so sorry. You're the catch. Simone Biles is chasing you. You're the catch in a relationship. You are the... Really? Now, I'm not doubting him in saying that Simone Biles was the one that pursued him. That very may well could have been the case. Simone Biles could have been the one to pursue him. Simone Biles could have been the one who was going after him, and not the other way around, like whatever. But basically trying to insinuate that you had no idea who Simone Biles was, even though there are people who can go and pull up tweets from you back in 2012 when you were watching the Olympics. Also, by the way, y'all, Simone Biles' husband, because I don't remember his name. I'm making an entire, like, this section of this video about him, and I don't remember his name. I don't remember his name at all. But basically, he's a football player, for y'all who don't know. I think he plays for... I don't even know. I don't even know. I just watched As Told by Kenya's Patreon video about this, and she was just talking about the team that he played for, and I already fucking forgot, because that's how little no one cares or knows about this man, but whatever. Anyway, he's an athlete. And because he's an athlete, you know, probably more than likely most of his social media is going to be centered around him being an athlete, other athletes, because it's probably who's in his circle on social media. It's probably who he's interacting with on social media. It's other athletes, other celebrities who are in the world of athleticism. And like, there's no way you didn't know who Simone Biles was. There's a literal trend going on TikTok right now of people asking random people, just random people that they know, do you know who Simone Biles is? And what they're saying, what? Yes, of course they know who Simone Biles is. You might not know what Simone Biles does, but you know who Simone Biles is. I'm almost certain it's like, what, 70% of the United States of America at least can like recognize Simone Biles just by her name, and knows who she is just by people saying her name. Like, you know who Simone Biles is. He knew who Simone Biles was. He's talking about I didn't know who she was. I was just some random girl. And I just think it's weird. I think it's weird, but I also think y'all are doing a little bit too much when it comes to Simone. Calling Simone a loser, calling Simone a bird, calling Simone dumb for being in a relationship with this man who was her husband, I think it's going a little bit too far, you guys. I think it's going a little bit too far. It's very obvious that Simone likes him. She's very happy with him. And if she wants to be in a relationship with him, that's her decision. Like, who am I to yuck her yum? If she likes it, I love it. Like, that's just kind of how it has to be. Like, and honestly, like, the worst offense of this entire thing is now this guy that no one knows still, by the way, this guy is now has a whole bunch of grown men, because they're defending him, because they have a bunch of grown men coming out and saying that they don't know who the hell Simone Biles is. And I was just watching, as told by Kenya's Patreon video about this, and she was talking about how, why would you want the world to, like, why would you want that for your partner, where how can I put this into words? You would want your partner to feel like everything they've done has been for something, and that people know who she is, or people know who they are. Like, it's like people know who she is, you know? Like, so why would you, as her partner, sit up here and talk about, like, oh yeah, I didn't know who she was, like, and basically downplay her celebrity, downplay her stature and athleticism, downplay her, like, fame, basically. Because Simone Biles is I'm almost certain she's the most decorated gymnast, I think, male or female of all time. Because, duh, have you seen the girl? Like, the girl does flips and shit, like it's nothing. Like, have you watch a Simone Biles gymnast routine, and you'll understand why she's the most decorated gymnast of all time. But, like, I just don't, like, really, like, now you have people coming out the woodwork talking about oh, well, I don't know who Simone Biles is either. Simone Biles isn't all that, or she's not. And I'm just like, okay, why are you you're opening up all this, like, negativity shit towards your wife? And it's kind of just like ill, you know? It's kind of just like ill. It's kind of just like ill. Like, that's, I don't know. Like, he's weird. I still don't know the moral of the story is that he's weird. Simone Biles is happy, so leave her alone. And why open up all this negativity and all this, like, vitriol up to your wife? Like, why even do that? Like, it's whatever. Like, it's literally whatever. But, like, again, if Simone likes it, I love it. But, like, I think he's weird. And people have been dragging him for the past 3-4 days, and still we don't know his name. Still, we don't know what team he plays for. All we know is that he's married to Simone Biles and he plays football. That's all we know. So, like, and he doesn't even have any accolades. Like, he doesn't have any accolades. Like, if he was like one of the best up and coming, like, football players, or like I would be like, oh, you know, okay, like, whatever, maybe, no, but like, maybe, but like, he has no accolades, guys. He has no accolades. And even if he did, they're never going to compare to what the hell Simone has. So, whatever. We got to move on. We're already 8 minutes into the video. Next. This might get my video shadow banned. This might get my channel shadow banned. But I don't care. I need to this is what I don't understand.
Be nice.
I'm finding it.
It take you that long to find it?
It does.
I cannot physically, mentally, emotionally, logically, I can't even imagine. I cannot wrap my head around in any context how people could be so evil when it's coming to the Israel-Palestine conflict. First of all, if you were on my channel, it's Free Palestine all day, every day. Like, don't get it fucking twisted. Don't you ever get it fucking twisted. It's Free Palestine all day, every day. I'm black. I'm so sorry. You thought I was going to side with Israel? With Israel? No. First of all, let's talk about it for a second. First of all, let me explain something to the dummies who are going to inevitably comment something on this video if y'all decide to watch. Saying Palestine deserves to be free and saying Palestine deserves to be liberated and saying that men, women, and children shouldn't be getting bombed for 80 days is not calling for a genocide of Jewish people. Ooh, it's not. I don't know where you got that from, but it's not. Well, I know where you got that from. Israel propaganda, but like, we'll get to that in a second. No, actually, no, we'll get to that now. One side of this conflict, and calling it a conflict really is not even doing it justice. It's a genocide. Like that's what it is. But one side of this conflict is able to produce movies, is able to produce advertisements, is able to produce animated short films about basically spreading their propaganda about why these people in Palestine deserve to be blown up and cleansed. And the other side are begging people to send them eSIM so that they can get on the internet and talk about what's happening. They're begging people to just talk about what's happening in Palestine because they don't know if they're going to be alive tomorrow. These are the people who are begging like the United Nations to do something to just let in food and water. Like, do we see how one side is clearly the oppressor and one side is not? Now, obviously, is Hamas a terrorist organization? Low-key, yes. Low-key, yes. They are a terrorist organization. Could Hamas have attacked Israel on October 7th and killed civilians? No, but I also think y'all don't realize that, like, the creation of Israel is why we have Hamas. I don't think people are like understanding that enough. Like if you go back to the 1940s when this was happening, like, you know, we're 75 years in. Well, not we. There's Palestinians are 75 years into this conflict of being oppressed and ethnically cleansed. If you go back to the 1940s when Palestinians were being forced off of their land, were being forced, they were the British. I think the British Empire was the ones who was trying to create an ethno-Jewish state, and they chose Palestine in order for that to happen. Like, the people who are part of Hamas are the children and the grandchildren of the people that were displaced and murdered originally back in 1948. If Israel had not been created in 1948, mind you, some of the people who live in Palestine today are older than the state of Israel. I don't even want to call it a state because I feel that sounds so nasty to me, but like, whatever. If Israel was not created, we wouldn't have Hamas. If Britain and the European and American powers that be would have just left Palestine alone, we wouldn't have Hamas, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. If American and European imperialism left Palestine alone, we wouldn't be having a bunch of these problems. Like, I don't think people are really understanding that. Like, I'm so sorry. If I'm a child, let's just go back. If I'm a child and you kick me off my land, you kick me off the land that my family has been at for hundreds of years, thousands of years. Kick me off my land, take my home from me, and then murder my entire family. I would want anybody who supports the side that did all that to me, I would want them to be burning in a fire. Like, I mean, really, think about it. Someone kicks you off your land that your family's been on for generations. They take your house and your home, force you to move somewhere that you do not want to be moving to, and displace everything that you have ever known in your entire life, and force you to uproot all that to move. And then they kill all your family members. And you think I'm not going to grow up to want revenge of people who did that to me? I'm sorry. Like, does no one see that? Does no one see how we got here? Does no one see how we got here? If we were if we weren't murdering entire bloodlines, if we weren't displacing people, millions of people from their homes, if we weren't seizing land illegally at that, if we weren't seizing lands illegally, then none of this would be happening. Or at least I think a lot of what's happening now would not be happening, and not to this degree. Like, I'm so sorry. Palestine deserves to be liberated. It deserves to be free, and Palestinians deserve to have their entire country back. Like, they literally do. Like, Like, oh my god. And then Netanyahu, whatever the fuck his name is, he literally needs to die. Like, I'm so sorry. I hope and pray that the darkest pit of hell opens up for that man and everyone in his cabinet. I'm so sorry. I hope the darkest pit of hell is waiting to swallow them whole when they transition to the other side. Like, I'm so sorry, because how can you be so evil? That's literally what I don't understand. I don't understand how people could be so evil. I don't understand how people could be Zionists. Well, white supremacy. That's why. But like, I can't wrap my head around it. I can't wrap my head around people being so evil, because I just know I can't be that evil. That's what it is. It's evilness. It's nothing. You can't call it anything else other than evilness. It's evil what they're doing to the people of Palestine. It's evil what they're doing to the women of Palestine. It is evil what they're doing to the children of Palestine. It is evil what they're doing to the men of Palestine, which I think we need to talk about, because a lot of the times when we're talking about what's happening in Palestine, especially on social media, people tend to leave what's happening to the men out of it and tend to focus on the women and the children more. I understand why, because it's like, why are we attacking women and children? Like, why are we bombing women and children? Because that's like the thing of war. That's like been a thing of war since like humans became a thing, is that you don't go after the women and the kids. And if you do, you're like, that's like a massacre. Like, you don't go after women and the kids, you only go after the men who are of age. Like, I understand why people are like focusing a lot on the women, and I know especially why people are focusing a lot on the children, but like, we need to focus on the men too, because the men deserve to be humanized just as much as the women and children. That's another thing. I don't understand how you can just dehumanize people like that. Maybe it's because I'm not white. Sorry to all the white people who watch my channel. I'm so sorry you're catching strays, but like, maybe it's because I'm not Caucasian, maybe because I'm not white, but like, how can you just like dehumanize a whole bunch of people? Calling Palestinians the children of darkness, calling them animals, calling them all terrorists, that's dehumanization. Where have we seen that before? Slavery. Oh, where have we seen that before? Where have we seen that before? Holocaust. Oh, where have we seen that before? Like, history is just repeating itself, and we are all sitting on our asses and not doing anything about it. And I say we, because I know there are people all over. That's what also really confuses me. Almost every person on this earth, almost a majority of the 8 billion people that are on this earth want a permanent ceasefire. There are protests in America. There are protests in Canada. There are protests in South America. There are protests in Africa, which is there's a whole other genocide going on in Africa. Okay, I think Sudan and the Congo, whole other genocide, 2 other genocides going on there. So we're talking about those two. Everything that applies to what I'm saying about the Palestinians applies to them too. There's protests going on in the Middle East. There's protests going on in Asia. There's protests going on in Russia. There's protests going on literally everywhere. Millions upon millions upon millions of people are coming out and saying that we want a permanent ceasefire, and nothing's happening. Which is why I am very, like, confused as to what the fuck does... First of all, Joe Biden going to hell. I'm so sorry. Joe Biden going to hell, and by extent, like, everyone in the White House, every single person in the United States government is going to hell. I don't care. Every single person in the United States government is going straight to hell, and I don't care. I'm so sorry. No, none of them. Absolutely none of them. Like, none of them deserve to. But, like, that's just me. None of them deserve to be reelected. None of them deserve to keep their careers. They all deserve to be tried as war criminals, in my opinion. I'm so sorry. Like, passing a law saying that free Palestine and saying from the river to the sea Palestine will be free, passing a law that says that's hate speech, and everyone in Congress, except for Rashida, because she's the only Palestinian American in Congress, everyone in Congress signed that bill and was like, yep. Everyone. Like, no, like, everyone in the government deserves to burn in hell. Because all America has to do is tell Israel to stop. And they will. But all of our tax dollars are going to fund a genocide. Teachers are not getting paid enough to provide for the kids they teach. Children are going home hungry. The homelessness epidemic is skyrocketing. The price of everything is skyrocketing. People cannot afford homes anymore. People cannot afford apartments anymore. People are dying because the government refuses to acknowledge that COVID-19 is still a thing and a pandemic is still going on. We don't have the money to fix the infrastructure in this country. We don't have the money to fix the schools in this country. We don't have the money to build parks in marginalized communities in this country. We don't have the money to build grocery stores in marginalized community and in food deserts in this country. We don't have the money to build new hospitals in this country. We don't have the money to build new schools in this country. We don't have the money to build new and better resources for our communities in this country. But we have $2 billion to fund Israel's genocide of the Palestinian people. Do you see how that makes no fucking sense? Do you see how that makes no fucking sense? Joe Biden is going to hell because Joe Biden and his administration is doing this thing where they're like, "Oh my God, we want Israel. We want Israel to stop the ceasefire." Like it's like they're enabling what Israel does or trying to play up their moralism, or I don't know what it's called, but like they're enabling Israel and they're letting Israel do whatever the hell it wants, because I'm almost certain America has interest in whatever the hell natural resources that Palestine offers. There's no other reason in my mind as to why America is doing. Well, there's other reasons. I mean, this country fucking sucks, but I just don't understand how people could be so evil. The government is like, we want Israel to stop and people are dying and there's too many women and children that are dying. Then do something. But they're trying to play both sides. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. They're trying to play both sides. They're letting Israel and they're funding Israel to let it do whatever the fuck it wants to do. Well, at the same time being like, too many women and children are dying, Israel needs to stop doing that, and we want a ceasefire. But every time a ceasefire resolution is being passed in the UN, the US is the one who blocks it, which first of all makes no fucking sense. Why the hell? Most of the recognized countries on this planet are in the United Nations. So why the fuck is almost every single recognized country on Earth voting yes for a permanent ceasefire, and the only people who keep voting no is the United States and Great Britain? And Ukraine is abstaining, which, y'all already know my feelings about Ukraine. I made a video where I briefly discussed what's happening in Ukraine, and I told y'all I stopped caring about what the hell was happening with them when they stopped letting black people on those trains, and they were pushing black people out of the refugee camps that was in Ukraine. Like, whatever happens to that country, I don't care. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't. Like, maybe you should have been nice to the black people, and I would give a fuck. But I stopped checking for them when they were being racist towards black people and Africans trying to, like, flee as well. But whatever. Ukraine is going through something very similar in terms of a power illegally occupying them, of an oppressor illegally occupying them. And they have the gall to abstain. And I know why. The reason they're abstaining from voting is because the United States is what's funding Ukraine in their war against Russia. And I know for a fact if Ukraine was to say that they want a permanent ceasefire to, the United States would just stop funding them. It's very simple. The United States would just stop. They would just stop funding Ukraine, and Ukraine would get pummeled by Russia because it's Russia, the second or third biggest superpower on the planet. Like, yeah, like Ukraine, which like, I already don't like their leader. So, but that makes no sense. Almost like majority, like not even the majority, literally all of the recognized countries on earth want a permanent ceasefire. And it's just literally every time I see on Twitter about them voting on it, it's the United States and Great Britain. It's literally just them. Why does the U.S. saying no to a permanent ceasefire in the UN hold any weight when everyone else wants a ceasefire? That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. Now, I don't like. I like. I want to say I don't know what to do, but I really think the solution to a lot of these problems is really, really simple. I just think I would go to prison if I said it. I would go to prison if I said it. Like, I would have the FBI tracking me down if I said what I think should happen to everyone in the United States government right now, what should happen to everyone in the Israeli government who supports the genocide, what's happening to all the Zionists. If I said what I think should happen to them, I would go to prison. I would go to prison. They would find a way to send me to prison, and I simply can't. I got a degree to get. So, but yeah, free Palestine. Topic. Everything is so fucking expensive.
Okay. So you getting it? I'm getting it. I don't get it.
And people cannot afford to breathe anymore. No one in my generation, I'm Gen Z. I'm 21, Gen Z. So I'm like on the older-ish half of Gen Z, right? I think the oldest people in Gen Z are like 25, 26, 27. So, yeah. Or I think 25, 26. I think the oldest people in Gen Z are 25, 26. I'm kind of like in the oldest side of Gen Z to the middle-ish part of Gen Z. We can't afford to buy houses. People want to know why the economy is so bad. Gen Z can't afford to buy houses. Gen Z can't afford to buy cars. Gen Z can't afford to buy groceries. The prices of everything keeps going up, and like wages are still piss poor. Everyone is fighting for $15 minimum wage, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, great start. That's not enough. In my opinion, I think everyone should be making at least $25 an hour. I think that should be minimum wage. Like, $25 an hour should definitely be minimum wage. Like, everywhere. At the very least. Because you used to be able to go to college, work a part-time minimum wage job, and pay off your tuition and buy a house on that. You can't do that anymore. People in the boomers and Gen X generation is like, no one wants to fucking work. And that's not true. First of all, Gen Z and millennials those generations are both complaining that they're hunting for jobs and no one is hiring. And no one is giving out interviews. Everyone wants 10 years of experience for an entry-level position. The reason people don't want to work is because you're paying them piss poor salaries and you're requiring too much of them for the amount of money you are paying them. If I have to have a master's degree and 5 years experience to work at your company, I better be making more than $50,000 a year. I don't care. I don't care. I better be making more than $30K. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? I need a master's degree, 6 years of school, at the very least. 6 years of school, plus 5 years of experience. I need 11 years of education and experience, and you're going to pay me $30,000? Are you fucking kidding me? The top boards of these companies don't know how to send a fucking email, and they're getting paid $3 million an hour. The top people in the boards don't even know what's going on in the company because other people are doing everything for them, and they're getting paid $300 million a year. The top people of this company don't know how to navigate Google Docs or PowerPoint. They don't know how to navigate Microsoft Word. They don't know how to navigate Google Sheets. They don't know how to navigate any of the office tech that like anyone in my generation, the millennials, would know how to use. And they're getting paid like $1 billion. Like they're getting paid like $500 million a year. They're making like $500 million a year. And they're not doing any of the work that people on the lower levels are doing. People are getting paid piss poor salaries. And things are too expensive. That people cannot even afford studio apartments anymore. Why the fuck is a regular studio apartment that, mind you, that has not been updated decor-wise, appliance-wise, nothing has been updated since 1995, and a studio apartment costs $3,000 a month. Ooh. And not only that, you have to make 3 times the rent to live there. Oh. You gotta make $9,000 a month to live in a studio apartment. Even if you could afford to live in a studio apartment, if you're making like $5,000, $6,000 a month, you should be able to you can afford to live in a $3,000 a month apartment. But then these apartment places have these rules. First of all, they want young people. They're advertising towards young people. And then when young people go into research, like what the apartment is, what the amenities are and everything, everything's so expensive. Why do I need to make 3 times the rent to live in your building? Why do I need to make 3 times the rent to live in your building? Can someone explain that to me? Please make it make sense to me. Why do I gotta make, why your apartment, the studio apartment, mind you, the studio apartment is already $3,000 a month. And I have to make $9,000, I gotta make $10,000 to live there? On top of like, more than likely I have to pay a security deposit and probably pay the first 2 months rent off bat before I move in. So that's $9,000, $10,000 I already have to pay out immediately just to live there. And then I need to make $10K a month. First of all, if I'm making $10,000 a month, me personally, I'm saving up for a house. But you can't, can you? Ooh, huh? But you can't. You would think making $10,000 a month, living in a $3,000 apartment, you have somewhere in between $6,000 and $8,000 left ish a month. And then let's say you spend $2,000 ish on groceries, expenses, car insurance, health insurance, like $2,000 ish, and another like savings and everything. So you have like $5,000 to $6,000 left over. And you would think after a couple of years of working, you would have enough to put down a like $20,000 or $30,000 down payment on like a small like starter home for you and your partner, or you and your kid, like, or just for you. You would think that, right? 1-bedroom houses with no laundry room, no yard, no garage, no driveway. 1-bedroom houses are going for $400,000. And it gets worse the closer you get to California and the closer you get to New York City. It gets so much worse the closer you get to those 2 cities. I kid you not, go on Zillow, go on Realtor.com right now and look up house or forrent.com. Go to any of those 3 sites and look up 1-bedroom houses in LA. Most of them are starting at $800K. Most of them are $1 million. And they're in disrepair for $1 million. People cannot afford to buy groceries for a month anymore. Groceries are getting too expensive. $300 a month on groceries does not get you the same shit that it gets you back pre-pandemic. Everything is so expensive. Everything is so expensive. Houses are too expensive. Cars are too expensive. Living is too expensive. And really, the only way to escape all of this, and to escape the hustle muscle of capitalism, to escape all of everything, is to die. People cannot afford starter apartments, and they're making $70,000 a year. $70,000 a year is not that much money. That's like lower middle class still, in my opinion. But you should be able to afford a nice apartment on $70,000 a year. Or maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that people should be able to afford an apartment on a minimum wage job. People should be able to afford to work for a couple of years and then put down a down payment on a house. The reason the housing market is in such disarray is because people can't buy houses. Rich people keep buying houses, renovating them, shittily, mind you. The renovations are shit, mind you. Floors not real wood. Walls are basically dust. The roof is held together by plastic straws and tape. The pipes are a year or two away from completely corroding, but they make it look nice, spiffy, white, and ugly. For people to come in, and then they sell it for like 3 or 4 times the amount of money they bought it for. They'll take a house in a neighborhood that was like $180,000. That was like a 2-bedroom, maybe 2-bathroom house, backyard, nice size, like kitchen and everything. And they'll take it, renovate it, and then sell that house for like $800,000. They'll take a house that's being sold on a lot for like $30K and then sell the house for $1 million. And then because of that, the prices of homes in the neighborhoods they're doing this in starts to skyrocket. And then people who used to be able to afford to live in their neighborhoods can no longer live in their neighborhoods. It's what's happening on 8th Street in Washington, D.C. It's happening in Anacostia in Washington, D.C. And that, I'm just saying DC because I've lived here for so long. Like, I know the gentrification that's happening in DC, but everything fucking sucks. That's the moral of the video. Everything fucking sucks. Like Simone Biles' husband's a loser. That's the least offensive thing that's on his list. I just wanted to talk about that. Simone Biles' husband's a loser. Palestine is people of Palestine are undergoing a genocide, and no one can afford to live. No one can afford to live, especially in this country. No one can afford to live. And I really want to say this issue that I'm talking about with like everything being too expensive. I think this is just an America, like a United States thing. I don't think people are dealing with this across the globe, but I could be wrong because I live in America. All the news I get about inflation and shit is about inflation in America. So if it's happening in Europe, if it's happening in Africa, if it's happening in Australia, I don't know. And I don't know this as severely, if the situation is as severe as it is in America. But everything is on fire. Everything sucks. Everything sucks. And no one can afford to do anything. So that's the moral. That's the point of the video. Everything kind of fucking sucks, and everything kind of, yeah. Everything sucks, guys. Everything sucks. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I was trying to not have this video be longer than like 25 minutes, and it's about to be 45 minutes. But anyway, what do you think of the topics that I discussed in this video? What do you think of Simone Biles' husband and his answers? What do you think of Palestine? By the way, any people who support Israel are getting blocked and your comments getting deleted. Don't fuck with me. Please don't fuck with me. Like, don't do that. Not here, not on this channel. We don't do that. No. And what do you think about the ongoing crisis of inflation and how everything is too expensive and how people can afford to buy houses and how people can afford to live in apartments anymore because an apartment in a shitty part of town and a shitty apartment that has not been renovated since the fucking 70s costs $3,000 to live in. Anyway, what do you think about all that? Let me know in the comments. Keep it cute in the comments. Because I will delete your comment. Don't fuck with me. Anyway, bye.